I met John through BNI. I did not meet him through some of my other things, and many of us are tied together in BNI. So it makes sense that as I talk about him, the very first part of his introduction is going to have to do with that. He's a prominent member of BNI, actually, from the global referral team. And he's been often recognized for his leadership and expertise in facilitating international business connections through the BNI network. He appears to be actively involved in building global referral opportunities within the BNI community. Some key points about him is that, or the global referral team, is that not only is he a member of a BNI chapter, which you have to be for this, but the team itself, the GRT, focuses on connecting BNI members across different countries to generate cross-border business referrals. Well, he's actually a connector. It's just natural for him, not just through BNI, but to discuss other avenues and other things. And the borders don't seem to have much of an issue in his mind. Over the last, I'd say, year and a half or so, I've gotten to know him a little bit better, and we've had some conversations, not daily, but on and off. And he's been very open about who he is, and I find him to be one of the most positive people that I have had an opportunity to meet. And in light of the openness, I want to tell you that he was very clear with me that there was a turning point in his life, which I hope he speaks more about today. In 1998, he suffered a mental breakdown and had to come with the terms that he was transgender, and realized that there are things that have been wrong for his life. And it took 13 years, really, for the surgeries and things to be completed. You ramp that up to today, right? We're in January 2025. It's the 20th. On the first of the year, he kicked off the year by marrying Joan, now Joan Patching, living in South Africa, and he's currently sorting out paperwork to immigrate. It's funny, when I asked people for their bios and stuff, John also included his likes and dislikes. And I think that the likes are a long list. It feels like it was hard for him to find something that he dislikes. So I am just going to tell you his dislikes, because we're going to hear more about his likes. His dislikes are housework, shopping, injustice, violence of any sort, including on TV. And I so agree with you on that. And playing sport. You know, John, as we turn the mic over to you, I do want to let you know that we have some sport fanatics in I almost said your name again, in Norm and Dave. So good luck with that.
So sport never really has been my thing. I like watching sport. I was always a snooker fanatic in the 80s, so I remember all the snooker black and white television. And any of you that used to watch a black and white, you know that it's very difficult to distinguish the red ball from the brown ball. So I have a distinct skill for doing that and watching black and white television. But that really is the only sport that I've ever really played or had anything to do with. I like the psychology of it and the mathematical aspect of the angles. So is it time for me to do my speech now, Cys?
It is always time for you. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so I'm not somebody that's very great with technology, as Madhu and Samaya know, Samaya being one of my best friends who works with me with GRT. So I have written everything down and I've written my script down, so you will see me turning the page as I actually speak. So I hope this is okay with you. So today I want to talk about responsibility and accountability and how this affects our life and really what is life. So I'm going to start with saying, well, what is life? Society has certain expectations. You go to school, you have an education, you settle into a career, you look for a lifelong partner, you get married, maybe you buy a house or have children. What you do is try and create financial and emotional security. You get old and you die. But does this really describe life? Or are these actions mere expectations movement related to earth-based conditions and conditioning. Ticking boxes does not mean you are truly living, does it? So what is the difference between living and existing? In 1998, I was given the opportunity to learn about myself and the true meaning of life. As you have heard from Cys in my bio, this time was pivotal in my personal development. I had a choice to embrace challenge and what was being shown me, or disappear into an internal world and shut myself down to the world around me. So many people suffer from depression, and having a mental breakdown is more common than people really realize. 1 in 4 people will experience a mental illness at some point in their lives, statistics from the World Health Organization. Reaching rock bottom is a place no one wants to go. The loneliness, despair, isolation, sadness that is experienced when your whole life disappears creates a desperate place. This is exactly what happened to me. I lost my job. I lost my home. I lost my family, even my parents. And having relinquished my name and my gender, I had no idea what I was, or even if I was still alive, as I was consumed by complete numbness. Letting go of who people thought I was and what I knew as the polished facade of a fictitious person brought into being by the projections of family and society was incredibly difficult. There was nothing else I knew about myself other than this. I spent hours walking, meditating, and searching. The two distinct realizations that I remember was one, I'm at the bottom of the well, so the only way is up. And two, there is no one who can tell me who I am, so I better take responsibility for myself and find out. I started journaling, reading, reflecting, and discovering. I chose life. Coming out as transgender and negotiating my truth consciously was the best gift the universe gave me. Acknowledging your identity and the responsibility of owning who you are and living in your truth. What this means for you and for others is the biggest responsibility of all. Who we are, what we think, feel, say, and do creates our world and those of others around us, and indeed has an impact at large on the world and the universe. A conscious awareness of self and the personal progression towards self-actualization, realizing yourself in totality and what this means, is an aim all of us should have a part of our learning, should have as part of our learning while we are on Earth. Being comfortable in our own skin is a lifelong challenge. Not just about being comfortable in our own skin, it's about being comfortable as an energetic being, and the realization that the world around us and the challenges are a direct reflection of the energies that we put out and what we as individuals and as a collective manifest. Life is energy, and energy is life. To drift aimlessly through life, only following society's directives, not understanding what life truly is, or accepting responsibility for our own growth, learning, and the impact we have in the shaping of the universe is not good. Think of yourself as a drop of water in an ocean. The one drop of water is important on its own, and together the many drops make the ocean. We are both the individual drop and the ocean. Without the individual drops, there would be no ocean. Non-duality is the understanding that we are individual, but also all. We are totality, unlimited consciousness. Instead of getting caught up in our minds, develop a mindful approach and be aware that everything we do has an impact on everything in life. It is a responsibility we all should be acknowledging. After all, the only thing we are truly experiencing is experience itself. I don't think there are many people who are not in the habit of labeling or judging. We all do that. and we judge our experiences as good or bad. But if we step aside from one moment, from the emotion, and ask ourselves, what is the learning? Why are we having this challenge? What do I need to understand, release, heal, change in myself? Then our personal journey towards understanding our infinite self would be a lot quicker. Suffering is not a problem to solve or to fight against or to be removed, but an opportunity to transcend. So, how do we take responsibility, excuse me, for ourselves as infinite consciousness? One, realize and understand how we manifest our lives. Every thought we have is an energetic form. By adding feelings and emotions to this form, we give it depth and begin to own it. From this, we may speak it, share it, write it. The form is now owned and has shape. Next, we take action. This could be a step to create the opportunity. For example, an affirmation, habit, or a more direct action. The last step is to release and surrender and watch how our manifesting unfolds. Many of us make the mistake of holding on or gnawing at what we want. This, unfortunately, only in turn manifests gnawing. You must surrender and release. Have a positive attitude towards life and the experiences we are experiencing. Positivity creates positivity, and likewise with negativity. Even when something happens and we feel that it can only be described as a disaster, there is always a learning, even if this is only understood in hindsight. Knowing that every suffering is an opportunity and a wake-up call to remind you who you are, and for you to remember you are responsible and accountable for everything. Life is always a mirror. Be compassionate towards yourself. If you cannot love yourself in your entirety, then how can you truly understand how to love anyone else? All of us have trauma in our hearts, mind, and energetic body. Learn to release and to forgive. Accept yourself in your totality. Practice non-judgment towards yourself and others. Remember equality and diversity. It would be a very boring world if we did not have equality and diversity. Live your life in truth. Be a living example to yourself and others. Embrace your weaknesses. If you are dishonest to yourself or try and hide yourself from yourself, you will attract and manifest this reflection in the form of the people that you meet. Learn how to surrender. This enables flow in life, balance, and harmony. Fight only creates fight. This I know only too well from my own experiences. Stay awake and be mindful. Live in the present, not the past or the future. Yes, the past teaches, the future we manifest, but do not live in them. So, actions to take to achieve the above. Learn to meditate, practice yoga or a martial art. Take a salt bath regularly to clean your energetic body and aura. Have you ever been for a swim in the sea? You've got out and you've gone, wow, I feel so refreshed. This is what salt does. It cleanses your energy body. Every time you see yourself in the mirror, say 3 things loving to yourself. Journal regularly. Use the journal as an extension of yourself to reflect, learn, and process your experiences. You can ask yourself questions like, what is the thing I am afraid of? How does it hinder my growth? What is something I regret? Why? Describe a negative situation or experience. What thoughts do you have towards it now? Write a letter to someone who hurt you. Are you proud of who you are? Why? Why not? And then daily reflections. What drained me of energy today? What gave me energy today? What excited me? What did I take for granted? Remember, gratitude is key. Read back on yesterday's daily reflections. How do you feel about what you wrote yesterday? What have you learned? Create a manifestation board with pictures and words. Think carefully about what you want in life and really phrase what you want very carefully. Write a personal vision and mission statement. This is how we can actually engage in the positivity and in the moment of the now. Be awake and be alert and be responsible for ourselves, and in return be responsible for others and for the world around us. And finally, I would like to end with a quote from Cys Bronner. Ego lives by getting and forgetting. Love lives by giving and forgiving.
Wow, John, I wish you could have heard this room. Dave and I share an office, and we both gave a whew at the same time. So touching, and we have a lot to talk about, don't we? Right.
Absolutely. And I really enjoy our chats, Cys, and want to get to know you a lot better.
Careful what you wish for. Uh,
You don't know her.
yeah. Normally, at this portion of the meeting, we go to our two-word messaging, and I'll explain that in just a bit. I think right now we probably have some conversations from the room that's here with you as far as the insights that you so willingly shared with us and the takeaways. I really liked the way accept responsibility was key in self-love.
Mm.
Recognizing who you are, taking the steps. And one of the things that you mentioned is what we forget to do, and that's the steps. You gave a good list of things, of actions that we could do that resonated with me. I'd love for someone else to jump in here and hear a little bit about what resonated with them and anything they'd like to add.
I'm ready, Cys.
Oh, right ahead, Mr. Director.
You know, John, the calmness of your presentation, yet the spirit of delivery was captivating. And Cys had alluded to, we're going to go into something we call two-word messaging, which is a part of our platform with our global positivity environment. But you used, and I'll say, a modified two-word presentation, two words in your presentation. And that was balance in harmony. I think you said and, but I just used the letter N because balance and harmony to me is vital to everything that we do. So I applaud
Absolutely.
you. And I really appreciate you taking some time to share with our forum today.